One mistake can move 15 tons in the wrong direction. One shift can last longer than an entire workday. One railroad pension can outpay millions of retirees. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Level 1. The Railfan. You're 8 years old, and a $79 Lionel train set feels more powerful than a real paycheck. You memorize locomotive numbers before you memorize multiplication tables. You can identify a GEES 44AC from half a mile away. Your parents stop asking why you know every railroad company in the country. You spend Saturday mornings watching trains instead of sleeping in. The engineer blows the horn and it feels like a personal greeting. You learn that some locomotives cost more than $3 million each. You discover that freight trains can stretch nearly 2 miles long. You start learning railroad jargon nobody around you understands. The railroad becomes less of a hobby and more of an obsession. You realize people actually get paid to work around trains. The average freight conductor earns more money than most people think. For the first time, you imagine yourself inside the cab instead of outside the fence. You stop asking where trains are going and start asking how to join them. The toy train on the living room floor quietly becomes a career plan. Level 2. The Trackman. Your alarm goes off at 4:12 a.m., and the railroad does not care how little sleep you got. Your first assignment is not a train. It is 95-pound rail, crushed stone, and a spike maul. You start around $45,720 a year and quickly learn every dollar is earned the hard way. By 7 a.m., the temperature is already climbing past 85 degrees. The ballast feels like walking on broken concrete for 10 hours straight. You swing a spike maul hundreds of times before lunch. At first, your shoulders hurt so badly that sleeping becomes difficult. The senior guys can spot a track defect before you even notice the rail. One loose bolt can affect thousands of tons moving at 60 miles per hour. You learned that trains always have the right-of-way. The train you just protected weighs nearly 18,000 tons. Rain, snow, heat, and wind all become part of the job description. The railroad teaches you that schedules matter more than comfort. After a year, the spike maul finally starts feeling lighter. For the first time, you stop feeling like a visitor and start feeling like a railroader. Level 3. The Conductor. Your phone rings at 1:47 a.m., and you have 90 minutes to report for duty. The railroad runs 24 hours a day, and now so do you. You stop planning weekends because the extra board plans them for you. Your first train stretches nearly 11,000 feet long. You spend the first hour connecting air hoses between freight cars. A mistake here can affect every car behind you. The train weighs more than 15,000 tons, but it cannot move until you say it can. You climb ladders, walk ballast, and inspect equipment in every kind of weather. The Fred goes on the last car, and suddenly the train is complete. By now, you recognize brake problems just by sound. Some days you earn over $300 before breakfast. The pay improves, but sleep becomes a luxury. You miss birthdays, holidays, and family dinners because the train does not wait. Seniority quietly controls almost everything in your life. For the first time, you feel responsible for thousands of tons moving across America. Level 4. The Locomotive Engineer. One day, you stop riding the train and start controlling it. The machine beneath you produces over 4,400 horsepower. A train moving at 50 miles per hour cannot stop like a truck. You begin thinking miles ahead instead of seconds ahead. The throttle becomes your responsibility. The dynamic brake becomes your best friend on mountain grades. You memorize signal aspects the way pilots memorize flight instruments. Federal certification now follows you everywhere. One distraction can become a career-ending mistake. Positive train control constantly watches the train with you. You are responsible for cargo worth millions of dollars. The locomotive becomes your office, classroom, and workplace at the same time. The railroad trusts you with thousands of tons and dozens of lives. Your paycheck can exceed $120,000 a year, but every dollar carries pressure. At this level, skill matters more than strength ever did. Level 5. The dispatcher. You stop moving trains with your hands and start moving them with permission. One desk now controls more territory than most people drive in a week. A single screen can show 20 trains moving at once. Every flashing symbol represents real people moving through real danger. The engineer controls the locomotive. You control where that locomotive is allowed to go. One wrong authority can place 2 trains on the same track. Millions of dollars in freight depend on your concentration. Lunch often happens while watching trains move. You learn every subdivision, siding, signal, and milepost by memory. A thunderstorm can instantly change the entire plan. The railroad never sleeps, and neither does the dispatch board. You may never touch a locomotive, yet thousands of railroaders depend on your decisions. The territory moves smoothly when nobody notices your work. At this level, you are no longer moving trains. You are managing a living system. Level 6. The view from the top. After decades on the railroad, the tracks start feeling like chapters of your life. You have worked holidays, weekends, storms, and nights most people never remember. The railroad paid your mortgage one tie, one train, and one shift at a time. You watched locomotives change, signals change, and technology change. The one thing that never changed was seniority. The younger employees now ask questions you once asked yourself. You stop measuring success by promotions. You start measuring success by the people you helped. The railroad taught you patience because trains move on railroad time. The paychecks were important. The pension becomes even more important. Many retirees receive around $4,775 a month from railroad retirement. The kid who played with trains never imagined this day. You finally realize the richest stage of the railroad career is not the beginning. It is the day the alarm clock stops ringing. Final level. The toy train still sits in a box somewhere. The rails carried you farther than any map could show. You spent years watching trains leave. Now you finally stay. The locomotives keep moving without you. The railroad never needed one person, but it remembered every one of them. Your name slowly moves down the seniority list. Your stories replace your shifts, and the kid on the living room rug finally understands why the richest day on the railroad is the day you leave it.